I'm dead. That's why, yeah, that was absolutely my fault. Get rid of all my healing for 16 focus crystals? Yeah, no, I deserve that. Holy shit. Bro. Oh, fuck, thank God for Dios. He's not even dead next to him.
Don't kill me. No.
I'm dead.
It's definitely not off. It's definitely not off.
I'm dead. What's up? It's been bad. Recently, I've been stuck in a rut because I can't decide on what games to play. I think I should finish my backlog, so I played them for a bit. The next thing I know, I'm checking the Steam store and... oh, that looks pretty cool. This is $90. That's okay. I can just go back to what I was doing before. Why am I here? Everybody has comfort games, and for the past month or so, for me they've been Risk of Rain 2 and Slay the Spire. Games I thought I'd never go back to because I'd beaten them. I beat the game on the hardest difficulty with all the survivors, and I beat the game with all the characters. But if you know roguelikes, then you realize that the pain never stops, because that's not the hardest difficulty. In both games, there's a prestige difficulty. In Risk of Rain it's called Eclipse, and for each survivor it goes up to 8. And in Slay the Spire it's called Ascension, and that goes up to 20. I can sum up my experience in a few sentences. Oh wait, I don't have to. Look at this. We are the only ones that must know. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result. This isn't insanity, and this isn't my own personal hell that I made. This is stupid, and it's fun. My win rate is in the negatives. I can't say that losing was fun every single time. What I can say is that it didn't feel as bad as I expected it to. Whenever I couldn't beat the game, while I did feel something, it wasn't... It was the voice that says, "You stupid fucking moron, don't do that again." I've lost count of my losses. I haven't. Editing me here, it's actually 604. I've become enlightened. I've become qualified to say that the feeling of defeat gets replaced by something new. You start to analyze how you lost, what mistakes you made along the way that led to you just sitting in a pool of your own sweat. All of this just to win once, and then do it all over again. So is it worth it? Kind of. For me, it's a careful balance. I have to lose in a way that makes it important, like I haven't lost to bullshit, and I want to feel like I learned something. But there also has to be enough of a challenge to make winning it all worth it, which roughly translates to add more bullshit. To make the losses more bearable, roguelikes make each run feel different. The genre is very RNG based, which can be bullshit sometimes, but it keeps things fresh, like a restaurant with a daily special. It makes for an environment where learning how to adapt to your surroundings is key. Once you've gotten better at that, you get consistent god runs. What are god runs? It's in the name. You become god and everything dies. If you still don't understand... That is a god run. And trust me, the power trip goes crazy. Just one god run alone can make it all worth it. The best players are like magicians. They make consistent god runs from thin air because their decision-making processes are insane. They make the wildest decisions and just say, "Don't worry, getting this will pay off if we fight the gremlin knob." And the craziest part is that they do. And it's what sets us apart. The tiniest thing becomes important in turning a normal run into a god run. But the thing is, you only learn it once you've died. A lot. It makes you understand why people talk like they're addicted when they say one more run at 4 AM in the fucking morning. We're chasing that high. And having an entirely new run every single time prevents burnout, because no run is exactly the same. But aside from having a new run, roguelikes are by design fucking hard. Why is it even hard to begin with? That's a question I have no motivation to answer. There are about 1 million videos on why we like Souls games, so I'm just gonna make this quick. For every time I get knocked down, I learn something new, but it's not the same as roguelikes because the boss stays the same. It's not about adapting to random elements, it's recognizing the attack patterns of a programmed boss and figuring out the best way to dismantle him. There is no complete game over, and there is no run ender. The run ends when you give up, which is why I feel satisfied beating these bosses into the dirt. Time spent losing against that one boss that wouldn't go down is time spent learning. And for every loss, you begin to feel your own payoff for the moment of victory that you'll remember for weeks. All games do this to some extent, but FromSoft games in particular make you feel competent, which I actually learned was a basic psychological need which is necessary for good mental well-being. But I wouldn't know anything about that. But anyway, competency is fulfilled because these games are difficult. They have to be. Otherwise it wouldn't feel like a worthy challenge for all the time you spent. There are bosses I look back to fondly because I remember how I felt beating them after the hours of abuse. But the best memory I have isn't actually from being the Nameless King or Melania. It's from Kingdom Hearts 3.
Somebody mentioned the door to darkness?
Imagine being me in February 2020. I was in the last years of school at the time and the Remind DLC had just come out. I thought, sick, I'll finish this and get on with my life. Wait, data organization. The data organization is a boss gauntlet from Kingdom Hearts 2, and it was difficult. Secret bosses, a little thing the series is notorious for doing. That's in being fucking stupid. But anyway, did you know that they're also called super bosses? Kurt Ziza, Ice Titan, Sephiroth again, the data organization, Lingering Will. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, we have this fucking goober, and he just hit like a wet paper towel. That's it? Really? Well, no. Square hears everything. I've besmirched their name, and there are no second chances. Remind added 13 super bosses that I had to beat out of obligation, and I was stuck with them. But what they didn't know was that they were actually stuck with me. All of this on the newly added critical difficulty, which meant I had to play the entire game again to reach them. Square Enix can suck me for this. My routine was wake up, go to school, think about Remind, do homework during recess and lunch, pray that they don't give out more work after lunch, go back home as soon as possible, take a shower, beat one, maybe two bosses, then somehow get dinner, then play more, beat another boss, maybe, go to sleep, then repeat. I became an unfeeling machine. And I loved it. It felt like I was climbing the steepest mountain, and every single time I fell down, I would keep walking until I reached the peak. And I did. I beat all 13 bosses. But then something unexpected happened.
Time to end this.
The trauma from this boss is the reason I flunked 2 exams at the end of the year. This motherfucker is single-handedly the most difficult boss in the series. He has a fucking move where he revives and he deals permanent damage. On that day, I was just so ready to be over with it. And so, like a capital G gamer, I forgot to take a shower. 3 hours of blood, sweat, and tears. Suffering, frustration, and despair. For what? For cooking a fucking chicken wing dinner with rice and the best goddamn shower of my life. That wasn't a shower, it was a baptism. I stood triumphant as all the pain washed away with my sweat, and I knew that it was all over. Critical mode, data organization, done. Looking back on it, my experience was a lot like the laws of equivalent exchange. The losses should match up to the win. The satisfaction of winning should be equal to, if not greater than the challenge and the amount of times I looked at the death screen and audibly said, I'm fucking stupid. That's the ideal. If I knew it was going to be easy, I never would have gone through with it. It has to make me suffer, because I wanted to feel like I was achieving something. And so, after that long spiel, let me tell you why that's bullshit. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell? Fuck. As much as I want the ideal to be reality, it just can't be applied to every single game. People who play ranked, think back. Did you ever have that one soul-crushing game The one where it all went wrong, everybody started flaming each other over one tiny mistake. So you said something and now suddenly they're all on your ass for some reason. And then the enemy just decides to join in and dogpile you without remorse because they just can't feel empathy anymore for some reason. And then after it, you look at the defeat screen and you realize you have to get out of that lobby before you type something most regrettable. There are some losses which you never talk about again. And there are some wins that you forget like a waking dream. You can't go back to retry that game again, and sometimes you can't control what happens. Sometimes it's just bad luck. The game's over and you just have to deal with it. The ideal balance isn't there. And I feel like the balance has shifted because some people have gotten brain rot from what this word implies. Competitive. I don't want to bag on anybody, but certain people who play those games are not very mentally stable. You can tell who they are because the moment anybody does anything wrong, teammate or enemy, they're the first to fucking blow up at them. Pros at VCT and Worlds can keep their cool better than they can, and they're playing for something that actually matters. Their entire career hinges on them not mentally booming. But these guys, they can't handle being exposed to any sort of pushback at all in fucking bronze of Smurf elo because their egos will break like a Fabergé egg. I know the mistakes are frustrating. That's a normal response when things go wrong. I feel that way all the time. But it literally happens to everyone and they're acting like someone just killed their family and it's their team's sworn duty to receive their wrath. They have to understand that losing doesn't make them a piece of shit. Blowing up about it to random internet strangers does. But these guys aren't the important part. They make both winning and losing worse for themselves and everybody else. They're self-destructive and sick, and it's sad. But the part that really pets my peeves are the people that give in to provocation. I'm going to give a comparison of what this looks like to me. Imagine a child walks up to a seemingly normal adult and they say that they are a big poo-poo stinky head because in their mind that's the worst thing that they could call them. And in response, the guy goes beet red and retorts with a fucking gun.
You want to play? Let's play.
And I'm not talking about responding to funny banter, I'm talking about responding to the lowest level of insults that exist just to make someone upset. If you get dragged down to this level, I just want you to know that you make every game you play worse for yourself. There are a lot of aspects that can make a match shit. Bad matchmaking, smurfs, but this one you can actually control. You can be better than this, but you choose not to be. I can't claim to be perfect. Sometimes I see something and it just gets me. But that's rare now. And it's because of an incident that happened to me a few years ago. I was playing League of Legends with a friend, and very early in the game, I ganked this guy and made a mistake. And so, like the average League player, the guy blew up on me. And I was like, okay, noted, I won't do it again. Chill out. He doesn't, so I mute him. 5 minutes later, my friend says he's still flaming me, so I go to look. Oh, he is. That's crazy. And then I mute him again. I tell my friend not to worry about it. Don't respond. This guy feeds on toxicity. His keyboard probably fucking looks like this. So guess what my friend does? He calls this guy a fucking baby man. The two proceed to go off at each other for like 10 minutes. I can't see what the other guy is saying, but I can see my friend going off, so I decide to unmute the guy, and for some reason, while talking shit to my friend, I was still getting hit with the collateral. That was the first time I was genuinely flabbergasted in my life. I couldn't believe this guy was still that fixated on me. And the craziest part about it was when my friend basically says, "No bitches," and it comes up that he was dueling with his fucking girlfriend. I was fucking stun-locked. They exist, sure, but are you seeing everything that we saw? What comes over me is one of the most intense bouts of confusion I felt in my life. And then it hits me. This thing on my screen is a real person. They're not just their username and a champion in the game I'm playing, and they're not some monster that escaped the fucking psych ward. This guy is a real person that, probably, has a loving relationship with his girlfriend and is shitting his brains out over a misplay in a norm game right in front of her. They are a real human being that I will never interact with outside of this little bubble that we are in. This guy is at our throats for something that shouldn't matter in the real world. But for some reason, they're just gonna keep being mad about this after the game ends. Why the fuck should I care? This guy is a crazy person, but I have zero reasons to care about them. If I'm still upset over something this stupid a day later, then I must be the biggest dumbass in the world. From then on, whenever I saw someone act like that, I just didn't give as much of a shit. If you felt attacked by what I've said, good. I have a message for you. When someone does something wrong in the game, instead of calling them a slur, give them advice. Calmly. Jesus fucking Christ. You will eventually have a better game, but you don't have to bring everyone down with you in this one. And if you're the type of person to reflexively see red and reflect toxicity like a mirror, realize that the other people on the other side of the screen don't care about you. You're wasting your life being upset about this, and you're probably increasing your chances of getting some sort of fucking heart disease. If you've listened to all that I've said, and you're still thinking, it's not that easy, then the brain rot has gotten to your amygdala. And sadly, we have to resort to drastic measures. Take a fucking break. Stop playing League of Legends or Valorant or CSGO or whatever for at least a week. Play something else.
This way, this way,
Which one's this way?
Sorry. Watch the landmines. Watch the landmines on the floor.
Turn the house here. We're behind you, Will.
Play Lethal Company. It makes losing fun. I'm going to say something, and the ranked nuts and souls like gatekeepers have to promise not to throw up in their mouths. Casual games. Hey guys, remember when games were fun? Can you tell I don't like trying new things? Playing ranked all day, and then whenever they try something new, they have to try to min-max it because they want to win? I can't help it. I have a type A personality. I have to be competitive to have fun. Oh, okay, so your entire personality is that if I took a pen and drew a straight line up here, that would be your recorded blood pressure when playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Just take a step back, get Lethal Company and a few friends, impossible I know, and just see where it goes. Give the game a chance. If you don't know what Lethal Company is, it's a Phasmophobia SCP type game that's been sweeping the internet. You play with up to 4 players, and you collect scrap for money while dodging eldritch horrors so you can meet the quota for the black company you and your friends are working for. By choice. The game is proximity voice chat and it makes the game 10 times better. But the reason I brought it up is that winning isn't what's important. It's about the flowermen that harassed us along the way. You will die. Die, and die again, until eventually you get airlocked, and it will be one of the funniest things you've ever played, if you let it be. Step in some goop, fail the obby, make mafia trade deals with bugs, step in some goop, reenact Jurassic Park, get fucking Attack on Titan. Your deaths will be silly, and when you can't make quota, you lose everything. But that doesn't matter, because you don't need the best equipment, you can just have fun. The game makes losing pure comedy gold, and it is the perfect game if you just want to laugh and maybe piss your pants a little. And after you've seen everything, and you get bored, you can go back. Maybe you'll have learned something. Fuck.